No way.
Hello everyone, greetings from Sheffield, UK. My name is Kadja Manninen and I'm arts manager, researcher and lecturer specialized in digital entrepreneurship in the creative industries. I am also currently finalizing my PhD in digital economy research at University of Nottingham. So welcome! This video marks the beginning of CircusTalk's new arts and technology series entitled Digital Business Models in Performing Arts, which stems from my PhD research. In this introductory video, I will be clarifying the key concepts relating to digital business models and digital business model innovation, as well as highlighting some common digital business model types deployed by performing arts organizations. So to start with, just a couple of words about my background. So I have a background as a circus artist. For about 10 years I was touring internationally as an aerial acrobat. After that I went on to study the production side of circus. So I completed my bachelor's in cultural management in my native Finland, Helsinki. After that I studied arts management. I did my master's at City University of London. And alongside my studies, I've also worked in diverse roles in the creative industries as a producer, for example, in the museum sector and also in design. And now I'm almost finished with my PhD at University of Nottingham, and since March this year, I've also worked as a lecturer in digital entrepreneurship at the new School of Digital Arts at Manchester Metropolitan University. So the core objective of this series is really to gain a better understanding of how performing artists and performing arts organizations can digitally transform their business models and develop new business models for the digital economy. And when I'm talking about performing arts, I really mean the art forms that are traditionally performed in front of a live audience, such as theater, dance and circus. So let's start by clarifying some of the key concepts. First, we have the concept of digital economy. So this was first coined by Don Tapscott in 1995 to describe the impacts of the newly emerged internet, because at the time, the internet was considered as the driving force of digital transformation. Now the term is used to describe all the economic processes, activities and interactions involving the use of digital technologies. So you may ask, what do performing arts then have to do with the digital economy? As usually performing arts organizations deploy this business model where income is generated from the ticket sales of live performances. Well, the relationship between performing arts and digital technologies has been complex. For instance, the digital replication of live performance has typically been considered inferior and losing its essence and also costly compared to its in-person counterpart. Arts Council England and Nesta in their Digital Culture Survey in 2019 found that performing arts organizations have been hesitant to embed digital technologies in their business models. However, the COVID-19 pandemic changed all this. As live performances could no longer go ahead, digital transformation was accelerated in performing arts, and the pandemic also provided performing arts organizations this kind of creative break from their everyday activities and even some resources to conduct experiments with digital technologies, and therefore enabled them to engage in digital business model innovation. So next, let's return to some of the key concepts: business models and digital business models. What in fact is a business model? So here I have some definitions for the term business models from academic literature. So the term business models has really become kind of a buzzword in managerial discourse over the last decade. So here, if we have a look at these definitions, we can see that income generation and value creation are really at the core of the business model concept. So how firms will make money, how the business or a firm works, the logic for creating value, or how an organization creates, delivers, and captures values. But keep in mind that these definitions are definitions how a commercial organizations function. Arts organizations, on the other hand, are often not-for-profit organizations or charities, so their business models function a little bit differently. So what differentiates an arts organization's business model from that of a commercial company is that an arts organization's value creation process is mainly guided by their social or artistic purpose and not so much by their financial motivations. Also, through the deployment of their business models, arts organizations create and capture different types of values, such as social, cultural, financial, and artistic. This is done through a value creation logic that is typically based on the arts organization's mission. So these key differences make arts organizations' business models more vulnerable to changes in their external environment. This implies that fast-paced change, such as that caused by the digital transformation, can easily make arts organizations' business models obsolete. So I already briefly mentioned how arts and culture organizations were able to engage in business model innovation during the COVID-19 pandemic. So what is business model innovation and why it matters? So the practical and economic importance of business models becomes evident when companies or arts organizations cannot keep up with the pace of change and are required to change their business models. Everybody, well, some of you at least probably remember how there was this company called Blockbuster where you could rent videos, and their business model was made completely obsolete when Netflix entered the market and the external conditions of that market completely changed. This is just an example of radical and disruptive change caused by digital transformation. So let's have a look how digital technologies impact business models. So a business model becomes digital when digital technologies trigger fundamental changes in the way business is carried out and revenues are generated. A study by Lee of 80 creative industries organizations found that digital transformation was a driver of business model development and offered the organizations a wider choice of potential business models. However, Lee also found that not many of these digital business models were truly new, but they were in fact scaled up versions of live activities-based business models. So Lee found that digital technologies impacted business models in 3 ways: by automating, expanding, and transforming them. So let's have a look at some examples here. An example of automations of existing processes is, for example, digital marketing. Nowadays, most marketing processes are indeed digitized. Then expansion of existing processes, for instance, in the context of performing arts, live streaming performances would be a good example, where digital technologies enable performing arts organizations to reach wider audiences or online audiences. And finally, a transformation of business models. We saw good examples of this during the pandemic, where arts organizations created these digital performances that were never meant to be performed in front of a live audience, but were performed on a digital platform to an online audience. As extant research on performing arts organizations' digital business models is still limited, as part of my PhD research, together with my colleague Dr. Chris Carter, we developed this new framework for identifying digital business models in performing arts. Our framework expands Rex et al.'s framework of common business models for arts and cultural organizations to the context of the digital economy. So what we did, we gathered data on 35 UK-based performing arts organizations and identified 6 core types of digital business models. And those were digital product, digital performance, digital service, streamer, digital commissioner, and digital hub. So as we conducted our research mainly in 2020 and 2021, we were quite lucky as there were much more digital business models being deployed by performing arts organizations than usually, as live activities could not go ahead. However, I think this framework can provide a good overview of what is out there and maybe give some indications of the digital future of performing arts. It is, however, important to keep in mind that the different digital business model types here are not exclusive, but performing arts organizations often mix them and deploy several business model types, live activities-based business model types, as well as digital business models in parallel to target different audience segments. So let's have a closer look at the individual digital business model types. So we found that the most popular digital business model deployed by performing arts organizations was the digital product. This involves creating a digital product. For example, a pre-recorded performance to be consumed on a digital platform. Income is usually generated from ticket sales. During the pandemic and beyond, we saw an emergence of novel digital products by performing arts companies. For example, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, podcasts, online escape rooms, at-home performances, and immersive online installations. And a good example of this is Darkfield. They are a small immersive theatre company based in London, and they introduced a project called Darkfield Radio, which was a series of immersive audio performances to be consumed at home or at easily accessible public spaces through a smartphone application. Another quite common digital business model deployed by performing arts organizations is digital performance. This involves producing a digital performance to be offered in real time to an extended online audience, for instance, a live stream performance that is distributed on a digital platform. In this business model, income is usually generated from ticket sales. And during the pandemic, we saw how the low-cost platform infrastructure provided by Zoom made this typically quite costly digital performance model more accessible to small and medium-sized enterprises. Although performing arts organizations might be live streaming their performances now a little bit less, while they might focus more on live performances since the pandemic is over. A recent example of this digital business model is that of New England Center for Circus Arts. Only recently in April they live streamed their circus show, Circus Spectacular. Since the pandemic, we've really seen the emergence of the digital service business model. This involves delivering online events, for example, workshops, lessons, courses, and other educational activities in real time on a digital platform. Income is usually generated from ticket sales and subscriptions. During the pandemic, Zoom was the most common distribution platform, but nowadays organizations also use specific platforms such as Teachable or Bookwen, where these services can be delivered. An example of this is the UK-based The Lost in Translation Circus, who during the pandemic delivered their online circus classes on Zoom. Another, a little bit less common digital business model identified through our research is Digital Commissioner. This involves commissioning digital performances and distributing them to an online audience, or maybe running an online festival. This seemed to be the business model of choice of receiving venues and festival organizations, particularly during the pandemic, which strongly reflects their traditional live activities based business model. In this business model, income is usually generated from ticket sales to these performances or festivals. An example is Deda Darby, who launched their Live in Your Living Room online program during the pandemic. Since the pandemic, this business model has become less common, but we don't know, maybe in the future we'll see more organizations to explore the opportunities of, for instance, online festivals. So the following two digital business model types are still relatively rare in performing arts. However, through our research, we identified some examples of them. So the first one is Digital Hub, which involves running a digital platform, sometimes with diverse intersecting activities. Definitely larger performing arts organizations have been experimenting with this digital business model type. For example, Rambert Dance, a large producing company based in London, launched their Rambert Home Studio platform in September 2020. The content on the platform included live stream performances, interviews, podcasts, short films, and online dance classes. Joining was free, and subscription to online content was priced at $7.99 per month. And then live stream performances were ticketed separately. A benefit of having your own digital platform is definitely that you can have control over your digital assets without the interference of, for instance, a third-party platform. So the final digital business model type identified through our research is called streamer. This involves producing live or pre-recorded content to be distributed on video streaming platforms such as YouTube or Twitch. Income is usually generated from a variety of sources, including advertising revenue, sponsorship, and supporting merchandise sales. Although this digital business model type is very new to performing arts, it is not completely new in the sense of being unprecedented, as it originates from gaming influencers on YouTube and Twitch. An example of this is Darbar Arts. They are performing arts SME specialized in Indian classical music, and their Darbar Festival YouTube channel is quite popular. They also have a membership option to which they can generate income from subscribers. It is clear that post-pandemic, digital transformation has somewhat slowed down in performing arts. This is because digital business model innovation is no longer necessity-driven, as live and digital activities now exist in parallel. Indeed, some performing arts organizations have defaulted back to live performances only, meaning that they have completely abandoned their digital programming. However, we have also seen an increase in hybrid business models. With these hybrid business models, live and digital activities seamlessly complement one another. For instance, digital performances can be leveraged as marketing tools for live performances or used to reach whole new audiences outside the performing arts. We have also seen new types of live performances that include a digital layer created, for example, through the use of mixed reality technologies, or they may even take place within virtual reality or metaverse environments. So just to conclude, as leading technology companies firmly push towards this agenda focused upon Internet 3.0 and the metaverse, it is really important that performing arts organizations continue their creative digital experimentations. Because whilst digital transformations is evidently slower in the predominantly live activities-based sectors of the creative industries, such as performing arts, it is inevitably taking place. and performing arts organizations need to keep up with the rapid pace of change. So I'll finish the introduction here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. In the following 3 blog posts, I will look into recent digital developments in performing arts, such as NFTs, mixed reality experiences, and other creative ways of generating value from the digital economy. Thank you very much.